In the dim glow of a California desert dawn, a strange machine stirs on a cracked lake bed, its wings gleaming like polished steel under a merciless sun. No propeller spins at its nose. No familiar drone of pistons fills the air. Only the low, unearthly whine of something new, something forbidden, something that will change the sky forever. This is the Bell XP-59 Airacomet, America's first jet fighter, born in secrecy, tested in isolation, and destined never to fire a shot in anger. Yet its story is not one of failure, but of the fragile moment when the future first touched the present, and the world of aviation would never be the same. The year is 1939. War has already begun to devour Europe. From airfields in Germany and Britain come whispers of a revolution. Aircraft that fly without propellers. The Heinkel He-178 lifts off on August 27, 1939, powered by a turbojet engine designed by Hans von Ohain. 2 years later, on May 15, 1941, the Gloster E.2839 takes to British skies, its Whittle W.1 engine roaring with promise. Reports reach the United States Army Air Corps, but they are met with skepticism. Jet propulsion is dismissed as science fiction, a curiosity unfit for the practical demands of war. Major General Henry H. Arnold, commanding general of the Army Air Forces, harbors no such doubts. During a visit to Britain in April 1941, he witnesses the Gloster prototype in flight. The sight sears itself into his mind. A machine that climbs without the drag of a propeller, that accelerates with a thrust no piston engine can match. Arnold returns to America carrying more than memories. Tucked among his papers are blueprints for the Whittle engine, smuggled across the Atlantic under the auspices of the Tizard mission. A demonstrator W.1X engine follows in October, hidden inside the bomb bay of a B-24 Liberator. The seeds of America's jet age have been planted, but they will grow in darkness. Arnold moves with urgency. On September 4, 1941, he contacts General Electric requesting an Americanized version of the British turbojet. The company agrees within a day. The following morning, he reaches out to Bell Aircraft Corporation in Buffalo, New York. Lawrence Dale Bell, known to all as Larry, accepts the challenge despite his personal aversion to flying. The project is codenamed MX-397, later disguised as the P-59 to suggest continuity with the cancelled XP-59 prop-driven fighter. Secrecy is absolute. Only a handful of engineers know the true purpose. General Electric refers to the engine as a supercharger component. Blueprints are mislabeled. Prototypes are built under the cover of routine piston engine development. Even the aircraft's designation is a lie. XP-59A, implying a mere evolution of an obsolete design. German and Japanese spies, should they intercept fragments of intelligence, will chase shadows. By January 19, 1942, the design is complete. Construction begins immediately. 3 prototypes take shape in Bell's hushed hangars. Chief Test Pilot Robert M. Stanley, a man more comfortable at the controls than in boardrooms, oversees the effort despite his reluctance for administrative duties. The first XP-59A is crated and shipped by rail to a place few have heard of, Muroc Army Airfield, a desolate strip of hard-packed clay nestled between the San Bernardino Mountains and Shadow Mountain in California's Mojave Desert. The name Muroc is itself a deception, a reversal of Coram, the surname of the brothers who once homesteaded the area. The site is chosen for its isolation. No roads lead here. No towns stand nearby. Reconnaissance aircraft would struggle to spot activity on the dry lakebed of Rogers Lake, where the surface is firm enough for heavy loads, yet vast enough to swallow secrets. Engineers, technicians, and mechanics arrive in Los Angeles in 1942, believing they are bound for routine assignments. They are wrong. Buses carry them into the desert, past Joshua trees and sun-bleached bones, until the world falls away. On September 12, 1942, the first XP-59A arrives at Muroc after a 7-day journey by train. A dummy propeller is bolted to its nose, a crude disguise for any prying eyes in the sky. The airfield is a ghost town of tents and temporary sheds. Dust coats everything. The heat is relentless. Yet here, in this forgotten corner of America, the future of air combat will be born. October 1st, 1942. Robert Stanley conducts the first high-speed taxi tests. The jet rolls across the lakebed, its General Electric IA engines, American copies of the Whittle design, emitting a shrill alien scream. The following day, Colonel Lawrence Craigie climbs into the cockpit for the maiden flight. The XP-59 lifts off smoothly, climbing into the clear desert sky. For 12 minutes, it flies without incident. Craigie lands with a report that sends ripples of excitement through the small team. The aircraft is stable, responsive, and astonishingly quiet compared to propeller-driven fighters. The jet age has arrived in America, but triumph is fleeting. As flight testing intensifies, flaws emerge. The IA engines suffer from sluggish throttle response, acceleration lags. Reliability is poor, flameouts occur without warning. Lateral stability is inadequate, especially in rolls. The airframe, designed for speed, proves fragile under stress. Open-air observer stations, reminiscent of biplanes, are cut into the nose for early tests, but they compromise aerodynamics. Famous test pilot Charles E. Yeager, who will one day break the sound barrier, flies a prototype in 1943. He praises the smoothness of the ride, but damns the speed. Barely 400 miles per hour, slower than the latest piston-engine fighters like the P-51 Mustang. The Airacomet is a sprinter that cannot outrun the past. Despite these shortcomings, the Army Air Forces place an order for 80 production models in 1943. 13 service test XP-59 as follow, equipped with the improved General Electric J-31, the first jet engine mass-produced in America. The J-31 boosts thrust, but only marginally. Top speed rises by a mere 5 miles per hour. Engine life plummets. Overhauls are required after fewer hours. Armament is relocated to the nose, a revolutionary step. 3.50 caliber Browning, M2 machine guns and one M1037mm cannon align along the aircraft's centerline, allowing direct forward fire without the convergence issues of wing-mounted guns. In theory, the XP-59A is a gun platform without pier. In practice, it trembles violently when the triggers are pulled. Robert Stanley reportedly remarks that the entire airframe shakes as if rattled by an earthquake. The advantage is negated. The third XP-59A is traded to Britain for a Gloucester Meteor, the RAF's first operational jet fighter, and the only Allied jet to see combat in World War II. British pilots fly the Airacomet and deliver a brutal verdict. It is inferior to their own jets and even to the propeller-driven P-51. 2 Airacomets are sent to the U.S. Navy under the designation YF-2L-1 for carrier trials. The results are damning. The jet's low thrust-to-weight ratio and poor low-speed handling make it unsuitable for deck operations. The Navy rejects it outright. By late 1944, 50 production Airacomets are delivered, 20 P-59 as in 30 improved P-59Bs. The P-59A carries 44 rounds for the 37mm cannon and 200 rounds per machine gun. The P-59B offers minor refinements, but no miracles. The aircraft are assigned to the 412th Fighter Group at Muroc for pilot familiarization. Captain Eugene A. Wink, one of the first operational pilots to fly the jet, describes it as a little flimsy, a little fragile. Yet he notes its agility in turns, a flicker of potential drowned in mediocrity. The Airacomet program operates under a black budget, its costs hidden from Congress and the public. Transports carry the jets by road, shrouded in tarps, fake propellers attached. No photographs are released. The Pentagon maintains silence. Even as the planes enter service in 1945, they remain ghosts. In June 1945, the 412th Fighter Group prepares for deployment to the Pacific, training for combat against Japan. The war ends weeks later with the atomic bombs over Hiroshima and Nagasaki. The Airacomets never leave American soil. The desert wind still blows across Rogers' dry lake. The hangars at Edwards stand where tents once sagged under dust. The whine of the J-31 is gone, replaced by the thunder of F-35s and X-planes. Yet somewhere in the silence between test flights, the ghost of the Airacomet lingers. It reminds us that progress is not linear. It stumbles. It fails. It rises again. The first jet was not the best jet, but it was the necessary jet. Without its fragility, there would be no strength. Without its silence, no roar. The world moved on. The Airacomet did not. It remains frozen in 1942, a silver dart on a sun-bleached lakebed, forever chasing a horizon it could not reach. But in its wake, the sky opened, and the men who followed, Yeager, Crossfield, the generations of test pilots, flew faster, higher, further. They owed a debt to a machine that never fought, to a dream that refused to die. This is the story of the Bell P-59 Airacomet. Not a hero, not a villain, a bridge between the age of wood and fabric and the age of titanium and fire, between the past that believed in propellers and the future that trusted in thrust, between the silence of the desert and the scream of the jet. And in that scream, the world was reborn.